Hey everyone, my name is Jay Burns with Huber Technology. Today we're going over the Huber Ro9. We will show you how to do the inspection on the brush, and then we will also show you how to do the brush replacement. Stay tuned to future videos where we will show you how to do the inspection on your wash water system, and we will also show you how to do the inspection on your compaction zone. So let's get started. Okay, so the reason the brush is so important on the Ro9 is because we have to clean the basket. The purpose of cleaning the basket is to convey material and allow water to flow through the basket so that when the material discharges, it's nice and dry. The brush is also important because if it gets less than your 3 millimeter, then you start rubbing on your wear bar against the basket, which then you have metal on metal. At that point, you're going to start doing damage to the wear bar. If you have to replace this wear bar, you cut every one of these welds and bend and weld the new wear bar back in place. From here, we're going to go ahead and start checking the measurements on our brush. When we're doing our inspection on the 800 hours, as you can see here, we have a brand new brush, so we are where we need to be with our 5 millimeter. What we're looking for is anywhere between 3 to 5 millimeter on the brush setting itself. We do not want to go any less than 3 millimeter because less than 3 millimeter, the unit will not clean the basket properly. Anything more than 5 millimeter could possibly damage the basket. So as you can see, we're going down. This one's set at 5 millimeter. This one's set at 5 millimeter. And this one is around 4 millimeter, between 3 and 4 millimeter. And again, we're at 5 millimeter. We're going to go ahead and show you how to do the brush change on your Ro9 unit. First thing and very most important thing is your lockout tagout. You always want to lock out and tag out anytime you get ready to work on these units, just because they do come on automatically by level or time, whichever one comes first, and they can come on at any point in time and can also cause severe bodily damage. So today what we're going to do, we're going to say we've already got this unit locked out, tagged out, and then we're going to start removing the fan cover. So what I have here is a 1/4 inch drive ratchet, an 8 millimeter socket to remove the bolts off of the fan cover itself. Okay, so we've done our lockout tag out. Now we've taken our fan cover off. And the reason we take our fan cover off is so that we can still turn the auger freely manually. So now, as you can see, we just turn our fan by hand, and this way we can get the auger in the position that we need it in to change our brush. Okay, first thing we're going to do is remove our spray bar, which is a 13 millimeter wrench or socket. I prefer normally using the ratchet wrenches. That's completely up to you. So now that our hoses and our spray bar is out of the way, we're going to go ahead and start removing our brush. What I have here is a 4 millimeter Allen wrench and a 10 millimeter socket. So I just hold it back here with my 4 millimeter Allen wrench and start removing my clips. As you can see, as soon as I start removing, they start popping up. At this point, we start here and we just work our way completely around the screw, moving the screw with the fan as we go around. before you even make it this far, you need to make sure that you've contacted Huber Aftermarket Sales, make sure that you got your brush and that you have enough spirals for your screen, which once you contact Huber, they will pull up your equipment based on the machine number and information that you give them, so that we can make sure that you do have the right parts for this particular brush change. Now, anytime you do the brush change, make sure you have your brush, make sure you use brand new hardware, your washers, your nut, and your bolt, along with the clips. We do not want to use the old clips, because what could happen, you end up putting the old material back on. Next thing you know, your brush comes off and runs out your discharge end of the screw. Okay, so what we're gonna do now that we have our old brush off, as you can see back in here, you cannot get your fingers back behind the unit, but we will start on the upper side putting our brush on. If you notice, these 3 bolts here are welded in place, and that is because you cannot get your fingers back here to hold those bolts in place. Okay, so what we're going to do to start with is we're just going to take our brush and we're going to roll it up in here, just like the other one came off. Just follow it along the screw flight. And remember, it's very important not to take this basket off, and that you do it this way, just so you don't have any issues getting it back on. So as you can see right here where this last bolt is and where the screw flights join together, that weld seam right there is where your brush is going to stop. Now, you cannot measure your 3 to 5 millimeter inside of the tube here. So what we do is we pull it up to us actually touching the tube. We're going to use our blue 242 Loctite. We never want to use our red, never use our green. And what we're going to do now is just put this right here on our welded bolt. Now we're going to take our new clip, push this in just a little. It's kind of hard to see with my hands in the way here. Put our washer on along with our nut. Go ahead and get it as tight as you possibly can with your fingers. Go ahead and check to make sure we're in place. Tighten it down a little more here. Now we're going to just snug it up just a little. Once you get it snug, you want to take a pair of channel locks and just grab on your clip to the top, squeeze just to make sure that it's touching. And then we're going to go ahead and lock this first one down. And continue the process. Now that we're past our collar, make sure you continue with your blue Loctite on every single bolt. Get it started again. Once you get this started, you still use the same process. Snug this guy down. Once you have it snug, you're going to use your pliers to pull your brush up in place. You may have to snug it a little more just to keep it from sliding. Then we're going to measure. As you can see, I have about 3 millimeter right here. I like to keep it around 4 just to extend the life of the brush a little. So anywhere between 4 to 5 millimeter is good. And then you're going to lock it down. You will continue to measure at every single clip that you put on and make sure you're within your 3 to 5 millimeter. Okay, so every once in a while, whenever you do this, you may go a little too high, which I went way high that time. That one was 10 millimeter. So when you do that, you just want to take your punch here, get right inside of your clip, gently tap down until you get back down to your 5 millimeter. Still about a millimeter too high. Get right back down inside the brush there. Another slight tap, check your measurement again. We're right on 5. And from this point, you continue to tighten them down, taking your measurement at every single clip. So now that we have this clip here in, we're going to stop 2 clips before the end of the brush. Now the reason for doing this is because we have to actually cut our brush. We don't want to cut our brush too long and we don't want to cut it too short, which is why we haven't cut it yet. So now, as I can see here, I still have about 5 millimeter here. I'm going to take my measurement right in here to make this cut. So what I'm going to do to make this cut is I'm going to use a set of bolt cutters. I will stretch this guy out and try to get on my mark here. And we're going to make our cut. It's kind of tough every once in a while. Now, the reason that we use the bolt cutters is so that whenever we make this cut, as you can see, it pinches, which allows the bristles not to fall out of the unit. Once we get that done, we're going to continue here with our clips. And on this last one, we like to try to bring it down just a little bit lower, just to keep it from jumping out. So right at the edge here, it'll kind of be flush with the wear plate, but as it goes, you can see you're still keeping your 3 mil. And that's just to prevent the brush from grabbing and pulling itself back out. Go ahead and tighten this thing back down. Then we give it a tap right there, just to kind of hold that in place. And that is the brush change on the Ro9. So today you've learned how to do the inspection and a brush change on your Huber Ro9. We hope that you found this video and this information useful. And if you guys have any more questions or concerns or need any more help, just look below and you will find our contact phone number and our email. Thank you.